evening and welcome back to another fantastic night of racing here on Racestars TV. Round 8 of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula 4 Championship eSeries, and this time we head to Circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands, the newly reconstructed Zandvoort circuit in iRacing, 4.2 kilometres. How many corners are we talking here? 14 corners of a very undulating, very fun, very high-speed circuit to race with these Formula Fords, the Ray Racing cars, FF 1600 in this championship. And I welcome into commentary Dave Roberts joining me for tonight.
Yes, a few little technical dramas. I'm here now.
Mate, you made it just in the nick of time.
Oh. It's all right. Called flat batteries and not all sorts of things going on. But anyway, I'm good now.
Oh goodness! Well, we jumped
straight into quali.
Yeah, straight into it for the gold split. On board with Andrew Gilliam, running the Altus Esports livery as he makes his way up into turn 10, box 10, and turn 13, and makes his way around. How good is this banking around the final corner as they unleash all about 125 horsepower of these 1600cc motors?
Well, the banking's a bit disappointing for a Formula Ford because when I was doing the setups, it's a bit of a non-issue.
Yeah,
because we haven't really got enough grunt on that final corner. The turn 3 is pretty good.
Yes, turn 3 is pretty fantastic here as we catch them all flying through. It's some pretty serious banking out there though, coming onto that final corner, and a pretty decently long lap as well.
Ooh. There's a lot of people going around on that turn 3. As we look at that.
Yep, finally simple case in point. Yeah, it actually is pretty easy to lose it on the way into as you come through that turn 2 right-hander, right where we pick up the 75 SimSports entry. That's Carlson, I believe, in the 27 car, or is it Colangelo? It was O'Shan Colangelo, the youngster, going around there at turn 2. I did some practice today. I was out at RaceKraft Simulations, sampling some of the wares and testing some of the equipment before I start to spec out my Simrig build coming up soon. And even I was going around on that corner quite a fair bit. And if it wasn't turn 2, it was turn 3.
Yeah, so look, Zandvoort's a great circuit. I wish we ran the original one from the 1970s, but it changed greatly. But the advent of the bank corners, I understand why they did it. I'm not quite sure. I think turn 3 is awesome. I'm not quite sure that last turn is actually an improvement. I think they should have left it flat and made it a bit more of a challenge for all cars.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I feel like with
it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like a GT-based car would probably be a lot more fun through those final couple of corners as we pick up Caleb Hydes heading down the straight. Everyone getting their first kind of flying lap started here, and immediately Damon Woods straight into the 142s as we're running through the first third of the qualifying session. It's a nice cool temperature in what looks like a late time in sim as well. Pretty late afternoon here. Here we go. It's almost 3 o'clock. It's almost 3 o'clock in sim, but it looks a lot later than that with the sun almost dipping over to the edge there. October 31. Of course, we run real-time dates. Happy Halloween, everybody, joining us. But it's relatively cool as well, so it should provide a pretty grippy racetrack, but you can see there's a lot of dirt and dust and all that untoward stuff just off the race line, Dave. That's going to make racing too wide pretty difficult for these conditions.
Yeah, it is. I think it's going to be a good race circuit. I think the challenges are there. We'll get a bit of 2 and 3 abreast down the main straight as a result of that banking coming onto it. I think it's going to be a little bit like Road Atlanta last week. I hope it is, because the Road Atlanta last week was awesome to watch. But I think it will be a bit of a challenge, and I think we'll see some real. If you get down here where we're following Ross Hansen now as we run down here, there's a couple of, you can dive down the inside into here. There's 2 or 3 different lines you can take that really work well for overtaking. Here, instead of going wide, you can cut down the inside and maybe slide it up the inside of somebody. So it is a darn good track for somebody who's got a little bit of creativity in their overtaking.
Yeah, for certain as well. It's going to be some pretty interesting moves. Down here, a bit of a pinch point at turns 11 and 12. That quick flick to the right and then bury the car down onto the curbing and the bowl through that long turn 12 complex in the third sector as used by F1. That's going to make things pretty tricky, especially after that long curving straight coming out of turn 10 as we pick up Brody Shepherd, currently P10 in qualifying. With 7 minutes to go, Brody about to click another lap over the line here, see if he can make any improvements. And he does as well. It goes up to P5 with a 143.7. Sorry, 143.3 that time by, trying to tow his teammate along as well. In fact, the 3 Vermilion Sim Sports drivers all line astern. Brody Shepherd, Sean Doyle, and who's the last one on the group there? Ben Miles in the 2 car. They've all just gone 5, 6, and 7 on time in qualifying. How good's that?
Ben having a big moment there in the middle of that banking because they got very sideways.
Pretty easy to get very sideways during that part of it.
I don't think it's a really big advantage out of getting a tow around here because there's hardly a bit that's straight.
Well, there is that, but it is quite a high-speed circuit, and having a tow can maybe help, especially through the long, fast sections between turns 10 and 11, and then down the straight. Even from turn 3 up to turn 7, I feel like it would be rather handy to get a bit of a tow, but it's not going to be something phenomenal, especially when you can't use it through 7, 8, or 9 either. You can't really utilise the tow to get alongside into those corners.
Not like we saw last week at Road Atlanta, where that huge, great long straight, and there, the tow there was worth so much, Chris.
Yeah, it was ridiculous that we're seeing cars go 2, 3 abreast heading down into that turn 10 chicane complex. Made some fantastic racing, though, and created a fantastic night at the races, and probably one of the best evenings of racing that I've called on this server with the FRG crew as well. A fantastic night out there as we follow Seth Brown in the Altus Esports entry number 4. Currently 13th on time. Oh, off the roaded there is the 3 of Cody Deeth, and that's after Cody's been to the top of the timesheets as well. So Cody's seeking a bit of redemption after what happened last week.
All of .003.
Nothing in it. Nothing in it. It's going to be exciting.
Nothing in it at all. And of course, Andrew Gilliam up there as well. Ewan Baker. It's the same old guard at the front. These guys have got class. They've got pace, and they're there every week.
They certainly are. A quick check-in on how the points stack up coming into this. This is round 8, isn't it?
It is round 8. And Chris, I'm going to be back in about 60 seconds.
All right,
and
I'll let you go.
Yes, I will be back. We're going to check in with race control so we can get some insights onto tonight.
All right, so coming into tonight, it looks like Damon Wood's holding a pretty healthy margin over the rest of the field. Of course, he had a fantastic night at the races last week and some fantastic racing coming out of Road Atlanta. Andrew Gilliam second, Mitch Martin showing third in the drivers' points, Cody Williams and Caleb Hydes for the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford eSeries, powered by FRG Esports. Gilliam just getting down the straight there and getting across the line that time by, still stays third, but now only 33 thousandths of a second off the back of Cody Deeth, your number 1 qualifier. There's a look at your points as they stand so far, as we were just talking about that. Further down the order, Caleb Hydes, Braden Martin, Timothy Harris, Seth Brown and Caleb Dawson. Jack Mara having a decent run as well. Jack holding on to P10 in the championship with the best position of 9th overall, and a couple of nights that have been very, very difficult at the races. With just a handful of events to go in this long and grueling series, it looks like it's going to start to fall the way of Damon Woods with a pretty healthy margin over the rest of the field. But anything can yet happen over the next few nights as we make our way into round 8 here. Then the series will continue to kick on, and we quick look at the way the schedule will stack up here for the Formula Ford Championship. Round 9 due to be a virtual Formula Ford festival from Brands Hatch on November 14.
Oh, awesome.
And then the virtual Walter Hayes Trophy on December 12 for round 10 at Silverstone.
Chris, to update you a little bit, we're not going to do the virtual Formula Ford festival because we've got such big grids that it really doesn't suit the Indy circuit. You would be nose to tail all the way around the circuit.
That is quite true, yes.
Yeah, just so we've gone Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, but we will run not a Walter Hayes, but we will run a normal round on the Walter Hayes circuit, which is the national circuit at Silverstone. It's a really good little Formula Ford circuit. It really suits the Formula Ford. But we think the Grand Prix circuit will just accommodate the size of the grid that we've got, because we've got 40 cars on the grid. 40 cars on the grid at Brands Hatch Indy is just not going to work.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've driven the Formula Ford Festival myself, and it really is. I think it's 28 cars is the grid, and that really is a very, very, very full grid at 28. Yeah, so to be thinking you're going to run 40, it's not going to happen.
Very wise choice there by FIG officials in the background, making the series happen. So kudos to those guys for making the slight change to how the next rounds are going to run here as we follow Callum Newton, currently 38th on time. He's completed a few laps but hasn't really banked a lap time to rock him up the order. 1:45.6 his best so far as he clocks across the line and does not go any quicker either. So we'll stay there in 38. Steve Casitas currently 35th overall with a 1:45.643.
Just looking down the list, Chris, for names I don't know, which is Raul Carlson there. I think he's pretty new to the series by the looks of it, and up in the top sort of 15. I don't know. I'm not going to count every number.
Well, it's a Ryan Carlson showing up for Carlson Motorsports, but it looks like a 75 SimSport livery on that car. And we've had a Cody Carlson driving for 75 SimSports in the series for the last couple of rounds. So it could be some relation. But definitely the first night showing up in a series for Ryan. It's really cool that we get newcomers so late in the championship, of course, with this series allowing people to qualify into the race every single week.
It is the nature of this sort of event where we've got an open qualifying. If you think you're good enough, come along, do pre-qualifying, and you can go out there and have a run. And hopefully there'll be some more people who may be listening tonight that might actually be not listening, but we might be watching next week or next round and the round after. There's 2 to go, and as you said, Brands Hatch, Silverstone, 2 of the homes of Formula Ford worldwide. So if you're going to have a go, come and have a go. Do this now, and then you know what it's all about. Ready for next season, because there's going to be another 10 odd rounds next year, and I think we're trying to do first Tuesday night of every month. That'll be a Formula Ford round, so everyone knows where it is.
Take a look now at your qualifying order and how they will start here for the sprint race. Cody Deeth taking the top time by 3/1000ths of a second to start on pole alongside championship leader Damon Woods on the outside front row. Andrew Gilliam, then Ewan Baker on row number 2. Caleb Hydes and Mitch Martin from row 3 with Sean Doyle and Matt Morris on row 4. Brody Shepherd and Caleb Dawson rounding out your top 10 and your first 5 rows of the grid. Liam Jensen, the JTRT Racestars entry alongside, was it Rob Bowden? I just missed it, from Ben Miles and Seth Brown. Then a quick flick through. Yes, it was Rob Bowden. Thanks, Luke. In the background, making it happen. Luke's always got our back. Further down the order, you see there, David Gallo, Kittens Racing entry down in 24th. Guy Leach down in P20. Caleb Black out of P19. And to think there's still another 16 cars stacking up behind David Gallo in the Kittens Racing entry, right in the thick of it as we take a quick squiz further down the order there. Oshan Colangelo, the youngster, out of position 26. John Baldwin, Scott Jordison out of 34. Then a couple more at the tail end of the grid as well, including Callum Newton. Cody Carlson showing up in the order out of 39, and Nathan Cook. Lockie Capel, what's the Dutch explanation for his name this weekend, Dave?
Lockie.
Lockie driving the safety car, showing up as 41st on the grid, but he will be inside the FRG.
Oh, look at that grid, Chris. How good does that look?
That is fantastic looking starting grid as Cody Deeth sits on the pole, waiting for the final call as the revs will start to come up. And we get set to go here for the short 15-minute sprint race. And we're away from Zandvoort for round 8 of Race Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries. From Circuit Zandvoort, look at Damon Woods already up the inside as they head up into turn 1. Deep is going to try and go around the outside as the whole field tries to go squeaking through the very tight and treacherous turn 1. And they're still side by side as they make their way into turn 2 for the first time.
Wouldn't grab that lead. And that's a pretty impressive thing. These cars are all very even off the grid. Very surprised to see him take the lead from back in P2 on the grid. That's pretty impressive. So let's see if Cody can come back at him.
Well, early doors yet, but Woods will lead deep into second. Andrew Gilliam behind in third as they go running down the hill through turn 7. And then use a bit of the curving and maximise the entry into turn 8. There you can see Deeth getting a little bit squirrely as they come down into turn 9. This is very tight. They dip down into second gear and then squeeze on the throttle. Try not to get the car loose on cold tyres as here's Gilliam having a look at Deeth. Very nice on the switchback from Andrew Gilliam, and Deeth isn't going to fight it way too early in the night to go fighting a move like that. And that will see Andrew up into second on the run down towards turn 11.
What I was saying about earlier, Chris, is that there's so many multiple lines in those corners that you can do that. You can slide down the inside and just knock the guy in front off.
Quite easily, in fact, as Gilliam looking very racy on this opening lap here as Ewan Baker, the meet in the middle of a Deeth and Hyde sandwich right now for 3, 4 and 5 as they come around the banking out of turn 14 and make their way onto the main straightaway. Lap 1 is going to be in the books here for the sprinters. Ewan Baker trying to get the elbows out and get past Cody Deeth down the main straight. He's just got enough to get an overlap, and he needs to try and get well alongside as here goes Gilliam as well up the inside of Damon Woods. And we said we weren't quite expecting the same kind of drafting as last week, but look at that. We see 2 overtakes on the main straight on the opening lap.
Nice to see. And Deeth back to 4th place already. Uh-oh, we've got cars everywhere. It looks like the end of the main straight.
Yeah, there's a couple of cars moving slowly there. There's one trying to rejoin across the grass there off of the first corner. But it looks
there's
like
a safety car out.
Going. Oh,
we have a safety car.
All right, so it looks like we are going to go. That didn't take too long, did it?
Yep, nothing new. That looks like Ben Miles sitting in the middle of the main straight, sideways.
Now, how on earth did he end up there? Look at how broken the rear-ended car is.
It hasn't even got to the corner yet.
Really past the braking markers, in fact. Definitely a well-wrecked rear end on that car.
I'm sure Luke will find us a replay, and here it comes. Oh, that will be it. So can we go back a bit further? That looks like Caleb Balak as well involved in that. So
it looked like Caleb Balak started that.
Back a bit further.
So we'll try and get that again here.
Luke
look at the
find
chaos that unfolded.
Yeah, here we go.
This here.
So watching this now.
We're definitely.
No, we're on the wrong car.
So that's after the incident started, but I'm really keen to see how it all started. But look at the chaos that it caused there. So here we are.
Here we go.
This is
on the inside.
Ben's turned over and not realised Caleb's there.
Oh, that's just a silliness. There's so much room on the inside. I don't know why you need to crowd people.
Now look at what it created in just endless amounts of cars pouring into the same piece of real estate that's now a blocked racetrack. And cars everywhere.
I'm sure race control will have a look, but you need to get on board and see where the steering wheel was pointed and that sort of thing. Look, here we go. Whoa, well, Ben certainly didn't move.
No, Ben was moving in a dead straight line with the wheel. Dead centre. Here's a look again from Ben's perspective, looking back, and it almost.
Whoa, whack!
I'm gonna reserve the judgment there because it looked like Caleb was coming across. So there's Caleb there, and for certain,
he sure has. Well, that's a bit of silly driving.
Yeah, so I feel like that one's going to land squarely on Caleb, and there's going to be a lot of upset people out of that, because how many cars did we just tear up on the start of the second lap of the race? You can see Caleb moving over, and then he
why would you do that?
And then whack, and it just causes all this carnage.
It's happened now, but why would you do that? Anyway, there's so much room down the inside, I don't know why you'd do that. But anyway, you've just taken about 10 people out of the race, but yeah, that's great.
Bit of an odd one there for Caleb. He's gotten away, relatively okay from that as well. But a lot of people,
not for long.
yeah, until race.
Not for long.
So as we sit behind Lockie Capel in the FRG Aston Martin safety car, Gilliam will have control of the race when Lockie decides to split the scene. And we're going to run down a couple of minutes of the action here from the sprint race.
So Andrew Gilliam hanging out there in front. He's certainly got some pace tonight because he's really taking it to Woods. So here we go, replay of the start. Let's see, Damon, fabulous start off the inside. So, wow, there we go. He's just got the run there. Look at that, a fabulous start. Oh, and the really good start with Andrew Gilliam in third. Yeah, wow.
An absolute flyer, but Damon's actually been pretty lackluster on his starts, even by his own admission. Not just in the Formula Ford series, but the F4 and the S5000s as well. So it's good to see that he's maybe got to work on the start procedure a little bit, tidied up his housekeeping somewhat, and has had an absolute ripper of a start here. But nothing quite as good as what Andrew Gilliam has achieved. Look at there.
Yeah.
He's got a.
That was a really, really good start. And luckily there was no silly, Perez in the first corner. We're good.
Yeah, nothing like the Mexican Grand Prix.
I'm going to lead. I'm brilliant. It's fantastic. Oh, no, I'm in the fence.
In the fence. Straight to the Looks like Lockie Capel has left the field by themselves. Now we wait for race control to give the green flag signal, at which then the leader can jump on the noise. No one is to accelerate until they get that signal that comes from race control, and it can come at any time once the safety car is clear. And it looks like it's going to be a very late call for safety car here, as you can see them all crawling along.
Green.
This is an incredibly late call, as then we go green. And who got the best out of that one? A couple of cars deep down in the field got a good run, but look at this. Ewan Baker is going to get monstered by both teammates.
Got a cracker off that.
Yeah, he certainly did. And he's going to move up and try and close it. Oh, that's getting close for comfort with Ewan. Even Caleb Hydes was up over the top of the inside curving to try and stay out of trouble.
Andrew Gilliam's made a really good restart there, and Damon's been very safe in his behaviour. Ewan Baker's dry. I don't know what happened there in the big bank left-hander. Ewan went from being really... Oh, that's somebody upside down. That's somebody upside down. I think that's the safety car breed safety cars, and car 19, that's not the direction you should be travelling.
Yeah, and David Gallo, the Kittens Racing entry, caught in that. There's another one buried underneath.
Looking for the litter by what I can see.
And Harris upside down. Who's that buried underneath him as well? One of the 75 Simsports cars. Now you got to keep in mind, 75 Simsports make up 20% of the field on the injury list.
Yeah, there's 75 Simsports.
Yeah,
75 of them.
I expect we're probably going to see another safety car call with those two stuck on the exit of turn number 3. But as it is, Damon Woods leading as Deeth got very close for comfort as they come down towards that turn 11-12 complex and make the run out the back towards the banking at turn 13. And if they don't drop that safety car call real quick, they're going to actually end up doing another lap here because they'll miss the safety.
I think we're going to be clear.
I can see the FRG safety car still in the pit lane, so we're going to keep on racing here. And look at that, Damon.
Running down the fence line.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at that. Round the outside goes Andrew Gilliam. What a move. What an awesome move down the outside. Now this is where it gets a bit tricky here into the banking, Chris. Can you get up the inside? Can you get the run? Now see, Deeth has gone round the outside and kept the road speed up, and he's got the run on the way out. It's really cool, those bank corners.
Yeah, Deeth really using that to his advantage there. Kept the momentum up around the outside and got the better drive. Conserved the energy a little bit better through the middle of the corner and shot up into second. Caleb Hydes is the next one in line, trying to have a crack at Andrew Gilliam now as Woods holds the lead. They go down into this very tricky turn 8 and turn 9 complex. It's something I never really managed to properly figure out through here where the braking marker is and how to flow the car through the corner. It always feels very wide and awkward. Like the track is so wide through this complex of the racetrack.
And it's all about mid-corner speed. It's about trying to keep that mid-corner speed up high. Race controller doing a bit of chatter in the background, but yeah, it is about keeping the mid-corner speed. Oh, that's a really late dive there by Damon Woods, and he's sort of lost momentum on the way out, but luckily it's not really wide enough you can do anything about it. It's very, very critical corner, that first part there, because it gives you all the speed up here onto the banking, and I can see Deeth and Gilliam really sitting in that toe, and Damon hugging the barrier line down the inside, trying to make people go round the outside. And looks like it's a possibility.
It's almost a half a chance of getting it done here. Deeth is trying it on this time by. He might get punished for that by Gilliam, who's going to try and go side by side, but Andrew can't quite get fully alongside. Maybe he can through turn 2, and he's going to have to find that high line through the banking there, gets it a little bit loose and gives up a position at the very, very top of the banking. The benefit with the way the banking's built there at turn 3, if you make a small mistake and the car steps out, there's not a fence that's right there to catch you. So you do have a slight amount of runoff. Oh, no.
Ross, dancing around. Ross, what are you doing, mate? It's the other way around. Get your GPS on.
Yeah, he's gonna jack reverse even. It didn't even want to do the donut. I remember I did that during one F3A round, lost up there and broke my car off on the inside fence, and then forgot to turn fast repair on, so it was race over.
Are in the opportunity for these guys, not so much down the main straight, but it's, there's another one around in the background, but it's though that this coming up here, this sweeping right and then left. The left is the one Damon's just come out of there. But that, if you can stay close enough to him, you can slide down the inside, and that's really, I think, the opportunity for overtakes is more back there than it is on the main straight at the moment.
It's definitely the key part of the racetrack where you can take advantage of a small error through turn 8 and 9 from the guy in front of you. If they make a little mistake, you can jump on them, get the switch back into turn 10, and then get the elbows out and hold on to that spot all the way around until you basically hit the front straight again, where the toe might come into effect. So that's what you can try and achieve if the guy you're racing against makes a small error. As we go on board with Andrew Gilliam here, Deeth getting right up onto his gearbox, but doesn't pull out for the move. As they go through turn 1 here, you can see in the background, they're actually not really breaking away from the rest of the field either. You can see behind them Hides, Bowden, Baker, Martin, Shepherd, Brown and Carlson, all just following each other in this freight train right now, with Martin on the back of that as well. We've got Mitch and Braden Martin, 7 and 11 on track, all kind of following each other with just little gaps in between.
Woods has just got that sort of 5-6 car length break there, you can see on the screen now, whereas second and third are nose to tail. There's that little break that Damon's been able to eke out, and it drops them out of the toe, and it, while those guys are fighting, they're giving, once again, as we've seen so many times in this series, Chris, Damon has the ability to make that break. When he sees them fighting behind, he just pulls that little extra bit of speed and just makes that break.
Getting a couple of YouTube comments asking how the stiction is on the racetrack, and I know that's a stitch up from my drag racing friends. So we'll keep on that one. But there is a little bit of dust on the racetrack, so that means there's a lack of stiction. As you can see here, case in point right here at the apex of turn 12. Hanging on, look how dirty that is. That's almost a dirt track down there.
Oh, Ewan Baker around back in the... yep, there he is.
Didn't get enough stiction out of turn 11 there for Ewan Baker. He's going to get dropped back through the field a little bit, and he is crabbing. So he has a hurt race car as well.
Ooh,
and
that's
that might be a bad night at the races for you. And there's another caught race car. Who's that? That's the 36 of Mitch Martin, I believe.
Yep.
So maybe they got together down at turn 11. Wonder whether Luke can find us a bit of replay love to see what's going on with that one.
Ewan Baker's gone straight on, so he's obviously not thinking he's got a damaged car. Here we go. Here's a replay. Ewan down the inside. And he's just lost it all on his own. Yep.
Got it.
Oh, and clobbered Mitch Martin. Yep.
Yep. That's how it all happened. You can see that happening. And that is going to be painful for those guys. The benefit is they've got the feature race yet to come. 30 minutes of racing in the second attempt here, as you see Martin getting his fast repair and rejoining the race. There's Barney with the white flag. One to run here for the sprint race of round 8 of the Australian Formula 4 Championship eSeries, brought to you by RaceKraft Simulations and FRG Esports. Damon Woods, business as usual out front, Dave.
I think Barney was actually surrendering, Chris. He's I give up. White flag. I surrender. It's over.
I thought that was the white flag.
So, yeah. They're still hanging on. They've closed the gap to Woods a little bit, but yeah, I don't see them doing anything really from here. And I don't think you can slipstream by the start-finish line from what I can work out.
Yeah, I don't think it's a move that's really on here, but you're not
unless someone makes a bit of a mistake.
You might see he might give it a go here as he tucks into the toe through the banking, 0.2 of a second the margin. He might have a crack at it here, but I don't think he's going to get enough main straight. Kudos for trying, though, as Damon Woods is going to run it to the line. Gillian trying to get him in a drag race, and actually, 0.005 of a second is all Damon Woods wins by. So that's a stout drag race all the way to the line. Woods takes out the sprint race here. Andrew Gillian misses out by 0.05. We'll start on the front row at least on second. Cody Deeth behind in third from Hides and Bowden, rounding out your top 5 as he almost got there, Dave. Gilliam almost got there.
Do you think Woods and Gilliam have put that in a notebook for the main event? I think so.
You'd be wanting to figure it out now and not be the first person.
They both know that, so they both know who's got to be first through that last banking on the last lap of the feature race. So that's interesting.
Well, there's something about the toe effect that if you could be back by an extra 0.5, you might actually be able to get in front because you get the longer slingshot effect.
Yes, you got time perfectly.
Yeah, but by that point we're absolutely splitting hairs. He was 2.5 of a second behind coming into turn 13, so keep that in your back pocket, Dave, as they all slow things up on their cooldown lap from the sprint race. Further behind, Brody Shepherd was out of P6 from Seth Brown, up 7 spots. Braden Martin up 9 spots from where he started to finish 8th in the sprint. Matt Morris lost 1. And how's this? Callan Arthur and O'Shan Colangelo both gaining 15 spots from where they started to finish 10th and 11th in the sprint race. There's your full finishing order, and SDK Timing just deciding that we want to do things differently. And now it's a 0.006 of a second, the margin between Woods and Gilliam. Cody Deeth back there in P3 from Hides and Bowden. A good run there for Rob Bowden. That's a pretty stout result.
Very good run from Rob. I'm very surprised that Cody Deeth back in third there. 0.8 back. He was on the pole. You know, he had the pace in qualifying. Where was it in the race, Chris?
Yeah, it just seemed to lack a little bit. It really did, and it must be said there. I'm just taking a look here. Rob Bowden, I think that's his best sprint race result to date. In fact, if I go back through the archives, that is his best sprint race result to date. His previous best before that was first round. I think he was 13th.
Superb drive by O'Shan Colangelo too. Absolutely superb drive. Guy Leach there in 16th. Guys had some really good finishes this season, especially at Monza. He was right at the front at Monza, looking like he's going to take the win. So
good advantage of the towing out of Monza, the old Italian tow trucks.
Yep.
Getting to work very nicely. Guy's a fantastic guy to race with as well. As we got 2 drivers in the green room, we might as well say good day to those guys and grab them before they have to jump in for the feature race. Congratulations to Damon Woods and Andrew Gilliam. Bit of a drag race at the end there, boys.
Yeah, it was one of the closest finishes I think I've ever had on iRacing. So the draft games is insane as usual in this car. So yeah, as always, it creates good racing.
Andrew, you had us surprised there because we were thinking that you really couldn't make it from that far back with such a short run, but you almost got there.
Yeah, when he pulled 0.6 on me, I thought, and he's driving so well. I was only just clipping the draft, and then I put a really good lap together, got out of the banking well, and when we had 0.4 coming out of the banking with 2 laps to go, I thought I've probably got a shot if I can get a good run out of the last corner, and yeah, it was 50-50 across the line, just super tight.
It is really all about being in exactly that right position to get the perfect tow to the finish line. Do you think that you can get there from second place? Or don't tell me because you'd be giving it away, wouldn't you?
I think the gearing's a little bit weird in this car. Like, if it was Phillip Island, I think I definitely would have got it. But we hit the limiter sort of right before the start-finish line, so I kind of pulled out and got into the side draft, and then didn't really gain as much as I sort of remember doing so on this car. So I reckon if you've got 0.3 on the car behind coming out of the last corner, you should be pretty safe.
Okay, interesting. The other question for me is the room really green?
I guess the little circles around the icons.
Room, but I've never been in there. Is it painted green? Yeah, a little bit.
You need to get back in and do some more racing, Dave. So we can get you in the green room for this race if you finish on the podium. Congrats, boys, on a great race, and we expect more of the same for the next 30-minute race. Does the longer race really change the game plan, or is it more of the same around here?
I guess it's a bit more single file for majority of the race compared to the sprint race. So everyone's trying to battle for track position in the early stages in the sprint, but I guess there's more time for everyone to settle themselves down and work itself out before the end of the race in the feature. So I don't expect it'll be as chaotic up the front, maybe in the mid pack to the rear of the field, probably, but especially the front guys, I think it would be a single file to change a couple of positions every now and then once it comes to the last 5 minutes, then it'll be showtime.
Well, best of luck for both of you there, and we'll let you guys get back in and
good luck, boys.
Get settled.
Thank you, guys. Catch you later.
Everyone.
There was your top two.
I think the key there is, Chris, neither one of them really want to show their hand until the last lap. Wherever that may be, whether it may be that right left, whether it may be the braking into the chicane, or it's a run to the finish line, we're never going to really see that until the last lap because nobody wants to show their hand.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that these guys are thinking that way, driving at this level. When considering, you or I would be in there just hell for leather the whole time, kind of grabbing the bars and flapping off the back of it for the full length of the 30 minutes as we see Caleb Balak, who did he get himself in actually a bit of strife? I didn't actually see if any kind of penalty came through.
Finished way down the back. I don't know what happened, but I think he damaged the car in that incident. It's a big wide straight. It's a bit unnecessary to be that close together, and whether that's Caleb's fault or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's just disappointing. It's a big wide straight. You don't need to be that close together, guys.
Exactly. As we'll check in on your starting grid here, Eamon Woods and Andrew Gilliam on the front row of the grid for your feature race. Cody Death and Caleb Hydes from row 2. Row 3, we'll see Rob Bowden starting alongside Brody Shepherd with Seth Brown and Braden Martin from row 4. Matt Morris will join Callan Arthur on the 5th row of the grid, and Ocean Colangelo moving up 15 spots from where she started to go P11 in the feature race starting grid alongside Liam Jensen on the 6th row of the grid here. A couple of names further down the order. Ewan Baker getting caught up after that incident earlier. He's down in 13th. Sean Doyle down in 22nd. Ben Miles down in 24th. And even further down the order there, Tim Harris, the Beige Brigade Woodgrain on that car was upside down earlier in the race. He's going to be down in 34th position to start this long wing feature. That's going to be a tough one there for Tim.
The Beige Brigade. Thanks, Chris. You've coined that.
That's what's written on his entry. That was in the comment section last week too. The comments are going nuts about the Beige Brigade. Loving him. Tim's got a few mates join us. We go straight to green. We're underway for the next 30 minutes of racing here from Circuit Zandvoort. You can see Ewan Baker decided to button out of the action and immediately pull hard left to try and stay clear of any carnage. He wants to keep his nose clean as Damon Woods gets his nose in front and leads into turn 2 for the first time.
Yes, that was interesting because I thought Andrew Gilliam was going to get down the inside of him. He made a bit better start and he got up there, but Damon just ran the thing faster around the outside and held that road speed and took it away. We've got a bit of a gap there happening in the middle, which is, I think that looks like sort of around that 6th or 7th place, a bit of a gap happening there. So you got we got the top 6 and then a bit of a gap to they've closed it up.
Yeah, as soon as you called the gap there, they all got onto it. Check this out. Death the inside. See how
down the
much
inside
longer
with
it's
a
grabbing.
bit of oversteer on the way in, and Gilliam's got him on the way out, and Deeth's gone down the inside. And they're going to run two abreast through here, but Deeth will. Gilliam will have better road speed. See the road speed? It's about mid corner speed there, and he's got that run out of that corner, and that's allowed him to re-engage second place. So, do we have a safety car? I think we do, Chris.
Well, the only indication that you and I get is exactly that, seeing Lockie Capel pull out of the pit lane
There he is.
with the FRG Aston Martin safety car. So Lockie out on track, but what for exactly? Oh, that'll be it.
Oh,
Callan
Callan
Arthur.
Arthur pointing the wrong way.
Yeah, caught up there at turn 3. I did
not
notice there was a
Callan.
big slow up of cars as they were coming out of turn 3 and charging up the hill. So something did happen down there on the opening lap. Let's see whether we can see it here as Arthur's on the inside at 2. He gets the outside at 3. Baker up the inside. Oh, and there was a double spin. Did they get on each other? And
No, I think
how's
Callan
that?
did that all by himself. That was sort of strange. Like I
He
said,
did,
a bit of slow-mo there, Luke. There we go.
We did find the fence though. Let's see what we got here.
So what we've got
let's see
is
that again.
the orange car down the inside has lost it. Ewan Baker there in the middle, 34. 32 is Callan Arthur around the end. Ah, he did. He clipped him, which spun him round up into the fence. Ewan Baker has gone, my God, they're going off everywhere, and he's snuck through the middle without so much as even a touch.
Yeah,
Very, very nice.
He was playing so conservative on the opening corner as well for Ewan, so he's tried his hardest to keep his nose clean, and he just got away with it there.
That was
as we catch the onboard with Callan Arthur just getting tagged and turning it around, finding the fence, and that is a rough start to his feature race campaign.
Yeah, and that was a bit of bad luck for Callan. He did nothing wrong there. He hasn't lost the car. He just clipped this car as he spun, and that's it. In the fence. Lots of damage. Looking for a tow, and we have a safety car.
Waiting for a mate on the outside of turn 3. The whole field doing a fantastic job to dodge him in that effort, though, as we find ourselves trying to get some heat into these Avon cross-player tyres that have been modelled into the Ray Racing Cars FF1600, something that's not really seen in Formula Ford competition on Australian shores these days. We made the step away from the Avons a few years ago now, and we make our way onto the Yokohama Advan. Is it the AO48 or the AO50 tyre?
I don't know the code numbers. I wouldn't have a clue. But
I actually believe.
I think the Avon is a bit. The Avon's a great tyre, but it was really designed for original Formula Ford with the 1600 engine, which what these have. And,
These are
and historic Formula Ford in Australia still run an Avon, although a different tread pattern. But
sure.
because we went to the Duratec engine, it's got more horsepower. It needed a bit bigger tyre, and they put the Yokohama on it. I'm not a great fan. I don't really like I personally don't even like the Duratec, but that's me personally, because I'm a bit of a traditionalist. For me, a Formula Ford's always got a Kent engine in it. But yeah, that is the modern day thing, and that there is the Duratec engine. It's a bit more horsepower, needs a bit bigger tyre, and hence the Yokohama. So, but it's a lot heavier tyre too, and changes the characteristic of the car a little bit.
Very much. The cars used to move around so much with the Avon tyre that basically the throttle is a light switch, and you've got to have very quick hands to keep on top of the car. Now the way you drive these Formula Fords is a little bit different in the last few years since the step to the Yokohama tyre. Ironically, the same tyre that was utilised for a long time in time attack competition.
Yes.
For the likes of Tsukuba Superlap and things like that through Japan. A theoretically street legal tyre.
Going green.
Although, depending who you ask, the Avon is also a street legal tyre. As we go green back underway here, Woods and Gilliam already going side by side. Did Gilliam get the restart to end?
He really did. He really did get a cracker restart.
And look at this. He's going to hold that outside line into turn 1, but Woods is going to try and poke his nose in there. But Gilliam gets through very nicely. Meanwhile, behind, then Caleb Hydes and Cody Deeth now trying to force the issue. Damon almost having to get defensive into turn 2, but he consolidates second. As they head into the banking at turn 3, Andrew Gilliam, your leader.
That was a really nice restart by Andrew. He got the timing right, got the run, got down the outside, and he got into turn one with clear enough distance that he could close out Damon on the inside. That's a really nice bit of driving.
It's getting a little bit dicey there. The 09 versus Autocars entry getting the back end well and truly hanging out down through turn 7 as they make their way into this sweeping turn 8, and then the fast switch back at turns 9 and 10.
Down the inside we've seen before.
It's a big look, and it's not going to pay off. Ewan Baker might actually pickpocket this move, though. He's looked to the outside into turn 9 or turn 10, but isn't going to make that one happen either. We'll tuck in behind. Oh, no, 2-1. And he saved it.
Yep.
He's safe. Might have lost the spot, though.
Yeah, no, Ewan's having a day at the beach.
Oh, look at this. Oh, no.
He's one out of that one.
Yeah, Ewan, that was Braden Martin, I think, was it, who tagged another car getting caught up on the way in, and that really hurt Ryan Carlson in one of the 75 Sid Sport entries.
Now, here we go, down the main straight for the end of the first lap after the restart. Look how quick Damon's down that inside, and Andrew Gilliam didn't shut him down. You've seen Damon run down that fence line on the inside, but Andrew Gilliam didn't. He's let Damon down the inside, and he's let him by.
Well, it's only going to take one time to
What's
really
he doing?
learn that lesson, isn't it? I think he's learned that lesson well and truly, as he'll tuck back into second now. Pretty deep has brought his way into that fight now. Look at how Gilliam kind of cuts the entry of that banked corner at turn 3, then slides up the racetrack and tries to really wind the car up for the run off the exit.
Well, watch the next lap. I'm going to go to the main straight, and I bet you that Damon Woods runs right down that fence line and makes Andrew Gilliam go right round the outside.
And I bet Gilliam will be right on his gearbox, because he has got a mirror full right now of Cody Deeth harassing him. Rob Bowden into P4 as well, having a great run. He's split Deeth and Hides as your top 5, broken away from the rest of the field.
You get that feeling that Rob Bowden just really likes this track. It really suits his driving, the smoothness of his driving, and it's just a place he belongs. It's, and he's really challenging here. He's got that little extra bit of impetus, that extra bit of pace, and he's really putting on these front 3 guys.
Yeah, he's having a brilliant crack at it. For the man who hasn't finished inside the top 10 yet in this championship, he's 31st on points. He's having a time. Oh.
We've done it again.
Oh, no. Oh, Rob Bowden loses it.
I am so sorry, mate. I really didn't mean to do that to you.
Poor guy. Poor guy's going to come for us with the pitchforks, Dave, as they come wrapping around.
Just as you say, he's never finished in the top 10, and I'm going, that's just not beyond. I was about to say, that's just not right. Oh, Damon has actually stayed on the outside and let Andrew Gilliam down the inside. We didn't see that in the sprint race, did we?
No, they were fighting for it a lot harder. I think there's a much more patient game at play here, and they're just playing the old leapfrog game and keeping Cody Deeth behind them in third as we go further back through the field here. Tyler Blackburn, the Racestars Esports JTIT entry, finding himself under a bit of pressure from a hard charge, and Caleb Balak, who tags him on the way through, and there's the 38 Mitch Martin tagging him too.
Oh, Luke might give us a replay of that if he would feel so kind.
Oh, I'm sure he'll grab something there. That is a well-broken race car.
I'd like to see the start of that a little bit better.
Yeah, you can see it here. Here we go. Watch this happen. Watch Caleb Black, the Pioneer DJ car. He pulls hard to the left down into turn 3, and the way the undulation is, it unloads the rear of the car. You lose the back end, tag your it.
Now one,
wait for the next one
and
to come through.
2 and 3.
Bang.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that all started with Caleb darting to the inside down at turn 3. That's why they all run the high line, because the back end just gets unweighted on the way in there. And around she goes. And unfortunately, that has ended the night pretty much for Blackburn and Martin.
And Balak.
And Balak, yeah. As we pick this up, look, check this out. Oh no! Oh, Ross Hansen had a big look there, but got the overlap tags too.
He actually didn't do anything wrong. He was fine. It was the other guy did a Perez and turned in on him a bit there, I think. But yeah, that was 3 abreast. It's always a bit of trouble. Here we go, replay again. What have we got a replay of this time?
Well, this is Stephen Casitas, just driving around by himself, and there's there's Stephen going around.
It's very Very easy to do
Here we
that.
go.
Here we go. So,
I don't know. Ross was moving one way, and the 75 car, John Baldwin, was it? Oh, no, it wasn't John Baldwin. It was the 075 entry. Was kind of moving the other way. We'll see if Luke gets another angle of it. Nope, we'll go back to the leaders. Look at this fight. They've dropped off. They've dropped off Caleb Hides now.
it's three. It's a battle
Really?
for three. Deeth sitting there, and it is the class of the field. It is Gilliam, Woods, and Deeth. And Deeth had the fastest qualifying time, and he's sitting there in the back, and he's just watching this in front. We've got cars everywhere again. But he's just watching this, and yeah, if I was him, I'd almost sit another car length back and just sit there. But he's got a good view of what's going on.
He certainly does. Yeah, if I were Cody Deeth, I'd be buying myself a little bit more insurance by just sitting a little bit further off the back of the guys in front. But Andrew Gilliam leads through the very dirty turn 12 over Damon Woods behind. And Deeth in third, looking for some redemption somewhat after last week's efforts where he went from the back to the front and then mysteriously disappeared into the shadow realm during the race. He's finding himself back in the hunt tonight, keeping his nose clean.
I think Andrew Gilliam was listening to me when I said run down the inside fence, because he's running the inside, and he's managed to hold Damon out. It is. If you don't sit in that toe, it's really hard to get by down there.
Look how wide Gilliam uses the road there. That didn't actually help him either. He didn't get the drive coming off the banking at turn 3, and Damon is buried under his gearbox as they charge up through those very fast sections, turns 4 through 7, as they cut the brakes, put down a gear.
Look at that leaderboard there, Chris. David Gallo in 13th. He's up 20 spots. He started in 33rd position. That's right down the back. Look at that.
Yeah.
20 spots up he is. What a brilliant drive. And Vernie's up 16. Steen is up 15. But you've got to say, David Gallo, who we've seen win so many silver races, he's up here and there he is in his nice little kitten. But we've seen him win so many silver races. He's a real class act right at the front of the silver. Here he is in gold, and he's picking them off like cherries.
Yeah, he's doing a great job after he found himself in a whole bunch of strife during the sprint race. If you remember, Dave, he was one of the drivers caught up in the incident. I believe it was with Harris as well, with the Beige Brigade car that was upside down during that race. So Gallo having to make a big comeback drive.
I think I'm seeing Ross Hansen round the wrong way again.
Oh goodness. As
Ross is not having a good night. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. Jeez.
Don't get down the inside. Not a good idea.
And speaking of getting down the inside, Andrew Gilliam still trying to defend this lead into turn 1. And Woods
doing a really good job, Chris.
Go around him here as they head up towards turn 3. Gilliam just beats that line again. It's a very awkward racing line, but it's obviously where he's feeling comfortable into turn 3. He kind of it's a sprint car line. We call it the slider. You cheat the entry and you kind of cut a little bit off the corner entry and slide the car through the middle, and then try and get the drive off the top. The problem is this isn't a 900 horsepower Chev with a wing on top. This is a Formula Ford 1600.
That's why I always drove a Formula Ford. I was always, and Craig Lowndes is another guy who does that. I know that Craig's a shallow entry guy. We like to enter the corner shallow, get the car a bit sideways in the middle of the corner and shoot it out. It's just a natural driving style, but it was the way I always drove the car. And you can do it in a Formula Ford because they're sort of loose, you know?
Well, yeah, I agree there to a point. I used to drive my Formula Ford in a very similar manner. Turn in early, kind of slide the car across the apex.
Back it in. Oh, somebody there backwards on the right-hand side of the road.
Yeah, there was there. Just a bit caught up. What are we watching here? We're watching Damon Woods, who lost a bit of momentum down here at turn 9. You can see he kind of washed the car and then couldn't get the drive off the corner.
Sideways.
And got it a bit loose. And Cody Deeth was very, very smart to not drive it through his rear gearbox in that instant.
Here we go again. Down the fence line goes Andrew Gilliam, making Damon Woods go round the outside. But he's got to get fully past him to be able to close him down before, and he's not getting there. He's getting up beside him, but he's not getting in front of him to be able to close him down. Bloody close though, Chris.
It's good little racing going out at the front here with 14 minutes to go. We're well across the halfway point here. Check on the hot laps. Ewan Baker has gone the quickest of the field, a 1:42.4. His best lap of the race that he set just then. He's probably involved in a bit of a tow battle as well, as the leaders lapping in the mid-high 142s, coming up on a little bit of lap traffic in Jason Depp down in 34th position as they come down through turn 7. I love this corner as well, turn 7, especially in a wings and slicks car. So much fun. As here's the battle, Ewan Baker. He's getting a bit of tow from the guys in front. That's how he's set the fastest lap of the race, but he is on the comeback drive, trying to get himself back into the top 5, which is currently being held by Caleb Hides in the pink and white car at the front.
Watch him pick off down the inside here into the second one. He'll pick him off down the inside. As I said, there it is. You can see it being set up from so far away. Beautiful piece of driving, Ewan.
It's a great move to get him up there, as your leaders have dispatched to the lap car in Jason Depp, who's just doing his best just to try not to race him and drive his own race for the last 12.5 minutes here from Circuit Zandvoort for the 8th round of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship E-Series, powered by FRG Formula Racing Group. The official E-Series of the Australian Formula Fords. As look at this, Woods actually went with Gillian then down to the fence until he couldn't anymore. Now gets almost clear, but then Gillian gets him back under brakes.
He's not there because you just can't get far enough in front to pull back in front of him to close him down.
There's another move made by Ewan Baker as well. He's up another spot now over the top of Seth Brown. So Baker on the move. He's up to P5.
And I mean, Seth Brown's no fool. He's been right at the front, super quick. But Ewan's he's doing a bit of a Lando Norris at Mexico, isn't he? I've got to say, I'm no Lando Norris hero fan, but boy oh boy, what a drive from him on the weekend.
Didn't he?
He just a brilliant drive, and it is that complete commitment and ability to think. Now, this is where I'm sort of expecting Woods to try and stuff it down the inside in that second left-hander there, but he's just not entertaining it. Maybe he doesn't want to give his cards away this early in the race.
Well, we talked about that at length with the races that go like this, especially with the Formula Fords. We know they're tow races. We know that it's going to come down to not necessarily being the guy who's the fastest during the race, but playing your cards the best. It's like a high-speed game of chess, Dave. You just need to position yourself right.
Yep.
And hope a little bit of luck goes your way as well.
Yep, and now Baker working really, really hard on the back of Caleb Hides here. But, again, Caleb's going to hug that fence line down the main straight. And maybe not. And
Ewan's actually...
No, he's made a mistake because he's allowed Ewan down the inside. And if he's gone down the inside, Ewan's going to have this first corner. So there we go, another position gain. So really, really nicely done. But that was a bit strange. I thought Caleb would have shut him down by hugging that fence line.
Yeah, it didn't look like he even attempted to try and fight it. Nope. You know what, though? If we get another safety car in the next couple of minutes, those two are going to be right on the back of this lead pack, and they could throw their hats in the ring to have a chance at this race as Damon closes right up onto the back of Gilliam. I love that gearbox shot, looking back at the car behind. As you can see, he's rolled out of it now as they make their way down the hill through turn 7, using a little bit of that curving, and then a lot of the next one for Damon Woods.
The other thing is, looking at Damon's car here, just for in case people are interested, but Damon races Formula Ford in the real world, so he's got a real Formula Ford that he races in Victorian Series, and the paint job is exactly the same as he's got here on his iRacing car. It's not the same car because he races a
McGowan, isn't it?
Is it a McGowan? No, it's not. It's a I'm not going to say anything because I'm not going to get it right whichever way I go. But whatever it is, it's not a Ray, but this is a Ray. But he's painted it exactly the same as his real world car. So he's giving all his sponsors and all the people that back him extra coverage by running here. Guys on Tuesday night logging in and looking at this and going, Apex Steel. Oh, oh, they sponsor a Formula Ford, and they're seeing that here on a Tuesday night in the eSeries. So he's giving all of his sponsors that extra coverage over what most people are doing, which is just running on a weekend with a Winton or Sandown or whatever. That's awesome to see the paint job from the real world with all the sponsors, everything being backed, and trying to give back a little bit to all those people who are helping his racing. I love to see it.
I believe it's the Spectrum.
Thank you. It is.
The Spectrum. Actually got onto it on Facebook as well for Damon Woods, featuring on the Spectrum and Sabre Racing Cars Facebook page, as is Eddie Beswick, who made a trip to the States throughout July as well to race for those guys. Andrew Gilliam getting a little bit of a break now in the Altus Esports entry as we pick up a slow-moving Guy Leach. That is positively crawling. So what's gone wrong for Guy here?
I think it's something in the banking.
Entry. As they go into turn 3, and
he's lost it.
Around she goes.
Yep.
Got missed as well by another one of the 1575 SimSport entries in our 40 car field. And a good miss there for Guy, who rejoins in 14th position. As we go back to your lead trio now, 7 minutes 50 to go, and it's still anyone's race between one of these three drivers.
That banking, as you turn in there, you sort of come in through the right-hander and you go over a little rise into the banking, and the car gets really loose in the rear as you go into the banking. And we saw it happen to Piastri, which is where Danny ran in and broke his hand. That same sort of thing. The cars are getting a little bit loose there. Now here's Woods down the outside, but he still hasn't made it. He has not made it. So Andrew Gilliam doing a great defensive job.
Yeah, Gilliam holding a fantastic line here. Oshan Colangelo on screen, making some more moves
up
to
P8.
charge up through the field.
Wow.
On the outside of Rob Bowden here. Bowden's going to have the inside line into turn 1 though, and we'll put Oshan, that was a bit tight, back to P9. But a great try from young Oshan as well, having a great run tonight, up 15 spots through the sprint race, and she's now moved inside the top 10 through your feature so far, and harassing the veteran Rob Bowden, who was running so well, but he's still back inside the top 10. So Rob, I gave him the commentator's curse before, and I don't want to do it again, but he's doing a good job back into the top 10.
I'm going to say here, Oshan, absolutely superb drive here up in the top 8. She doesn't need a W Series or an F1 Academy to prove her worth. She's out here with the boys and actually giving them an absolute belting. So isn't that fantastic to see? I love it.
And how good is the battle up the top here? They might not be switching and swapping positions too hard at the moment, but they are going at it. With 6 minutes left to go, they make the run down into turn 13 here from Circuit Zandvoort. And we're going into the setting Dutch sun.
You think Damon
way around that banking?
Damon's thinking, how the hell am I going to pull this off? He's tried everything he knows. Oh, I think he's in front of him by the line here.
Yeah, now is Cody giving him a bit of a bump draft? Because Woods does get in front, but then gives up the spot again into turn 1.
But I reckon over the line, I think over the line, the Woods is in front.
He was. I think he certainly was in front there, but Gilliam still held the track position and still got back in front. So if he can try and secure himself a bit better there, check this out.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yep.
So if we look at this in this way, that, okay, maybe second onto the straight, he may be second off it, but at the finish line, he's in the lead.
But the reason he got to the lead is because Cody Deeth was was pretty much elbow deep in the rear end of that race car as well. He was pushing him down the main straightaway, giving him a good old bump draft to help him get there. So if he's got a pushing buddy, we're getting into NASCAR terminology here. If he's got a pushing buddy in Cody Deeth, he might have a chance of getting that kind of move done to get to the line, but it's still going to get a bit messy. Speaking of messy, Caleb Hyde's around at turn 8, and see what happened here for Caleb. Looks like it was almost by himself. Just gets the car a little bit loose on the way in, and big bite of curb.
Yeah, big bite of the curb. There we go.
That sausage curve at turn 8 can be pretty brutal on these cars, and considering we've only working with about 40 millimeters of ground clearance.
So we've just gone to a blanket tow, so there will be no safety cars from here on. If anybody crashes from here on, it's just they can immediately tow to the pits. So the racing will always finish under green. It's just a little something FRG do, because we don't like to see races finish under yellow. We're not Americans.
We had that happen for a couple of instances a few years ago, where we were yellow and then got into a single lap. It was a couple of years ago. We were yellow and then to a single lap dash at the finish there. I remember it was an F3 race at Spa, and I took out third place on the final lap to finish on the podium.
Woods is throwing everything at this, Chris. He is throwing everything at it. He nearly had him through turn one, but he just cannot get in front. But he doesn't necessarily need to. He just needs to line up that finish line run.
Well, he might be eyeing something like that off at the moment. I'm still really impressed with the line choice from Andrew Gilliam. He's just a little bit different. It's a little bit different with his choice of racing line tonight here from Zandvoort, and sometimes that can be the key. Well, that's a bit of a different choice of race line. There's no grip out on the grass there for Gilliam, but he managed to hold on to it and didn't get checked up, and they're using all the road and then some on the exit of turn 9. Here goes Damon Woods, but he's going to be on the outside again into the very, very tight right-hander down at turn 11. And it just cannot happen for Damon Woods. Gilliam sneaks through. In fact, Damon gives a little bit too much room, and Cody Deeth might poke at his nose in there.
These guys are having a ball. I bet they've all got a grin from ear to ear, because they just love their racing. So let's see here. What's going to happen over the finish line? Who's going to be in front over the finish line here? So we've got the camera up over the top. And again, there we go. Again, it is Damon Woods is able to be in front over the finish line, but he can't get the job done down into turn 1. So
time and time again, Woods is playing this game, but and I think Gilliam might start to realise this is happening, because Damon continues to get his nose in front. Where is the control line that it picks the finish from, though? Because it is, if it's the checkered line, then definitely Damon is going to be able to get him. But if it's the control line before that, then it could be a different story with a shorter run there. I do believe it is that checkered line, though, is what we saw in the sprint race that separated them by 5 or 6 thousandths per second.
On the last lap, I would think if I was Andrew Gilliam, I'd be going left, right, and blocking just to try and get Damon to lift, because the slightest lift and he's not going to be in front at the finish line. Now, I wouldn't do that every lap, but the last lap, you can get away with blocking as much as you damn well like.
Well, you say that, but then who's going to be the first person that arrives on the scene to pick up the pieces? Cody Deeth, because he's that little bit further back where it can play to his advantage. As here we go, too wide through the banking. Further back in the field, this is the fight for 20 and 21 between Callan Arthur and Scott Waterston, duking it out, and that's a bit of cool fun.
I thought Callan Arthur was heading for the pit lane then.
Gave it a bit of a hard right hand down here, but we're inside the final minutes. And this is where the race is really going to hot up in the battle for the race lead. Here we go. Andrew Gilliam making his way around the banking for the penultimate time. You can see Damon's buttoned out of it. Damon's backed off, and this time Cody Deeth is going to go side by side with him. 35 seconds to go. White flag in the air. 1 to run here from Circuit Zandvoort.
I think Cody Deeth has knocked off second place. He has.
He's got the job done here.
He has. He grabbed second place off Wood. So it had not been a while since Damon Woods back in third place. But
yeah. Now I wonder whether they're planning something here as well.
No, Hyde's has gone round. Cody Deeth has gone round.
Yeah, and he went around at turn 3. Now Damon missed it, but Damon's given up a ton of time. 8 tenths per second. This could be the nail in the coffin, although there's a lapped car.
We have a lapped car just to make things even worse.
Andrew Gilliam still has to navigate the lapper here through the very fast section down at turn 8.
And he's good. Nice driving by the lap car. Beautiful. Knew what was going on. Pulled out of the way. Let the race be what the race is.
As they come out of turn 9, I don't know whether Damon's close enough. He's half a second off, and he's going to give it absolutely everything to try and close the gap. With a few corners left to go, a little bit squirrely on the exit, and Gilliam actually pulls out to over 7 tenths again.
Are we on the last lap? Did
White flag was out. White flag was definitely in the air.
Okay.
100%. So this is going to be... and Damon's
Woods
gone
off the road. That's it.
He threw a bit at the wall and tried to make it stick, and it did not stick. And it's going to be Andrew Gilliam making his way out turn 13. He drove a fantastic race, played the smart game all race long, kept his nose in front.
He will be absolutely jumping.
And it wasn't the kind of last lap battle we expected, but Gilliam reigns supreme here for the 8th round of the series. Damon Woods across the line in second, and Ewan Baker sneaking through to third. A great drive for Ewan.
What a brilliant job by Ewan.
He started.
Yep.
And Cody D's home in fourth with a last lap attempt to swing for the fence and try and take the race lead. It really was a slider move. Very sprint car style there for Cody Deeth and not to be. Shepherd across in P5. Caleb Hydes in 6. Braden Martin home in P7 from Rob Bowden. His best finish of the series. P8 inside the top 10. O'Shane Colangelo up to P9. A great finish for O'Shane. And then Liam Jensen rounding out your top 10.
Well, that was an awesome racing. Very different to what we saw last week where we had a pack of 9. We had a smaller pack of 3. But boy, oh boy, he tried to do that down the inside, and there's just not... You just lose the rear end on that inside line.
It's purely the...
And here we go. There's this. And there's the stolen third place. But Ewan Baker, great drive, up 10 spots to grab a podium position. Really, really nice. And great to see.
A fantastic pickpocket effort there from Ewan Baker to nab that spot on the final lap there. Just the undulation of the racetrack down at turn 3. Kudos for having a crack on Cody Deeth's part, but could not really make it stick in this attempt, and that will put Gilliam on top tonight.
And here we're going to run down to that chicane. We're going to see Damon Woods here, where he just outbrakes himself, just lost it a little bit late on the brakes, and just, you can see here, and he's gone that curb and just locked the brakes up a little bit, and lost the rear end on the way in across the dirt. Saved second place, but boy, that was close.
Yeah. Kudos for trying again on the part of Damon Woods. He gave it a big dip on the final lap there, trying to see if he could make up the half second or so that he needed to try and get close enough to challenge on that final run to the line. But it wasn't to be, and Andrew Gilliam claims the win tonight. Here's your full results as they finish in the feature race for round 8 of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula Ford Championship E-Series. Andrew Gilliam taking the win, 2.6 clear eventually of Damon Woods in second. Ewan Baker climbing to third, up 10 spots from where he started over Cody Deeth, who lost out on the final lap there to go P4. Brody Shepherd rounding out your top 5. From Caleb Hydes in 6, Braden Martin in 7. Rob Bowden with his best finish of the series so far in 8. O'Shane Colangelo, a great job from the youngster, down in P9. And Liam Jensen rounding out your top 10. And a shout out going to David Gallo, up 22 spots to P11. Caleb Balak up 25 spots, the biggest mover of the race, to go P12 after a disastrous effort in the sprint race, putting him down the starting order.
Yeah, but I think Matt Morris there probably a little disappointed with 13th place. He had much better pace than that tonight. Ross Hanson, I'm surprised, there in 16th place. I saw Ross pointing the wrong way more often than I saw him pointing the right way. I say it in all jest because Ross is a friend of mine, but yeah, he really did have a tough night. To come out 16th, that's a great result. Ben Miles, we saw there, big accident early on, 18, up in the top 20. I think that's a great result from what some of the carnage that unfortunately Ben got involved in.
Scott Jordison there in P21, up 19 spots after starting 40th in the sprint race. So it's a great result for some who took the race to try and just keep their nose clean on a track that we knew was going to catch out a lot of drivers and create a lot of wild racing. As we grab our top 3 in the broadcast room, fresh out of the green room, as we check on the final finishing results from that one. We'll start with your winner tonight. Congratulations, Andrew Gilliam. What a race.
Oh, thanks, guys. That was a stressful 30 minutes.
we were starting to question a bit of the methods or the madness in your methods. The way you were going about not really defending down the main straight, because lap after lap we were flashing up and we were seeing Damon getting his nose just in front right on the line, and thinking that you may have been putting yourself in the wrong position for the end of the race.
I agree. I was actually quite stressed. I was really sussing out, like, letting him catch me, like, really close to the last corner, you know, and then on the runs where I sort of had 0.3, like I said before, coming out of the last corner. Didn't matter what he did, he always got that nose in front. I'm like, oh man, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't really want to give up second place and be exposed to Cody and risk, you know, dropping back to third. So I thought if I could just, you know, stay ahead for as long of the race as I possibly could, I should be able to hold on to at least second place across the line. And I thought, oh, that's good enough. You know, don't want to get any DNFs or any bad results for the rest of the championship.
A very solid result, mate. And then ultimately the final lap fell directly into your hands by being in front. Cody had a big swing for the lead and it didn't work out and you managed to get away.
Yeah, I was really surprised that's where he decided to go for it. I had a couple goes at the low line and I knew that it just makes this car spin out, especially on cold tires. So I saw him drifting up into the track and I was like, oh, you know, so close to being taken out. But yeah, luckily it sort of checked up Damon enough for me to come across the line without a draft to P2. And it was the first time I've actually been like glad to see lap traffic. I thought, oh, maybe these lap cars are actually my godsend for the end of this race. Usually they get in the way, but I feel like it was maybe a little bit lucky the way it fell on my lap, but I'll definitely take it.
A great result nonetheless.
There was no luck out there. That was a great drive, a great result. I was concerned with your being passed every time on the line that Damon was in front, but you know, I figured on the last lap you would have made it the widest Formula Ford we'd ever seen anyway.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
On to second place then, Damon Woods. What a drive, just being in that bubble in the top three all race long and then having a pretty big dip on the final lap trying to close the gap.
Yeah, I was having a crack to try and get as close as I could to maybe get a chance at the draft on the front straight, but yeah, it didn't turn out to be, but that doesn't really matter, does it? I think I've still got the pretty comfortable championship lead, so I just need to bag points to the end of the series and hopefully we'll take the crown.
I mean, you certainly put up a great show, and it was interesting that every lap you went across the finish line, the start-finish line, every lap you went across in the lead. You just couldn't quite get far enough in front to close him down into turn one. But that was a really interesting. I was looking forward to the last lap, and I figured if I was Andrew, I would have made you would have looked at the worst Formula Ford that was cutting left, right, wherever you wanted to go. I was going to be there and hold you off. But I was looking forward to that last lap so much, and we never got it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I got a cheeky little bump draft going through the banking coming on the last lap, and then Cody went for the dive bomb at 3, and then ultimately that caused me to check up on the inside, and then I had to push through the infield to try and catch, but wasn't to be this round. But you know, we take it top 3 finish regardless.
Congratulations to you, mate. We'll come back around in just a second and we'll dip down to third place to Ewan Baker. Pickpocketing right at the end there. You've got to take advantage of the situation sometimes. Up 10 spots to stand on the podium.
Yeah, snuck in when no one was looking. That was quite good. Yeah, just for most of that race was just head down, pushing as hard as I could. Yeah, I felt like I had the pace to maybe match the top 3 guys, but because of that break that happened in the field and having to come back from 13th, I knew there was not really much of a chance to get in unless fireworks happened. But lucky for me, things fell my way and yeah, snuck onto the podium.
Speaking of fireworks, I was quite enamored by your antics at the start there. I watched you pull out from the grid and immediately go hard left to try and dodge any carnage that was going to happen either directly in front or next to you, and then it still kind of unfolded around you down at turn 3.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting kind of used to dodging things in the middle of the pack the way that sort of the season's unfolded for me. So yeah, got a bit of a rocket start compared to the guys around me in the start, and I thought, yeah, I'll just send around the outside, see what happens, try and keep clear of any madness. And yeah, unfortunately madness happened right in front of me, just sneaked by, which I think was definitely more luck than skill, 100%.
we're just getting some vision of that now as you're charged up towards turns 2 and turn 3. Two guys going side by side right in front of you, and then the spin that unfolded quite a lot of carnage there. That was not really anyone's fault, but you did a fantastic job to just get away with it. And the 17 car from another one from 75 Sim Sports did probably the biggest favour for you, and just missed your rear end. Ryan Carlson just missing you down at turn 3. So I think you might have to go thank him later for keeping you alive in that instance.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of cooperation for that. But yeah, no, I can't blame anyone for spinning, especially on the first lap. I did the same thing on the sprint race. Thought I'd have a cheeky look down low in the banking, and yeah, it does not the car does not like doing that. So yeah, very easy to do.
The back end, as you come over that rise and go down the inside lane, there's just not enough grip on the rear end, is there?
Yeah, and it's so inviting as well. There's just so much of the track down there, and you think, oh yeah, I'll be cheeky, do a bit of a Fernando Alonso up the inside, and yeah, no, punishes you pretty quickly.
Yep.
It sure does, mate. Well, a great night at the races, coming home with P3. Who do you have to thank, Ewan?
Thanks to the team, Kiwi Sim Racing as always, and our sponsors, Speed Nation, Scott Technology, and Inspire.net. Big thanks all around.
Great stuff, mate. We'll go to second place. Damon Woods, championship leader. Who do you have to thank?
As always, Apex Steel, Aviation Component Services, John Bell Racing, Synergy Race Engines, Dave's Decals for all their support throughout the real life 2023 season, and as always, the FRG boys for putting on a splendid event.
It is always a great time at the races with you, mate. Congratulations on second place. And to your winner, Andrew Gilliam, who do you have to thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the team, Altus Esports, VRS, Racetech, and make sure you check out our Altus Engineering packs on VRS as well. And thank you to the race control and commentary team for putting on a good show.
Well, congratulations to the top 3 boys. Go and lap it up and enjoy the rest of your evening as we wrap things up, Dave, from round 8 of the RaceKraft Simulations Australian Formula 4 Championship eSeries.
I don't know. Where are we next week? I have no idea.
I can tell you. I was already looking at it. Round 9 of the RaceKraft S5000 series from Interlagos. It's going to be a great time. Next Tuesday night, same time, same place, same channel. We head next week to Interlagos. But the next round of the Formula Fords will head to Brands Hatch for their 9th round, and that is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. That's the week after. That's November 14 from Brands Hatch, where we'll be running the full circuit, not the Indy. So we'll run the full GP circuit for what is almost our virtual Formula Ford Festival. But as Dave said, we'll not run the short track. Trying to fit 40 cars on that would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and next weekend we're running S5000 at Interlagos right after the F1s are on Interlagos.
Yes, it mirrors the F1 round. That's going to be fantastic as well. A great track, which is going to be lots of fun for the S5000 guys, thanks to RaceKraft Simulations behind that series too. If you'd like to get involved, you can find Formula Racing Group on Facebook and get the links to head into the Discord channel and check out all the series that are on offer at the moment. And if you'd like to get involved with Formula Fords, because it is an open grid that you qualify in on the weekly basis for each round, then you can join that series and come and try and pre-qualify Monday week, which would be the 13th, I believe, yes, 13th of November, Monday week. That's when I'm actually getting the final inspection for the house I'm buying. As well as if you'd like to check out Formula Fords, go to the Australian Formula Ford Championship website, which is, Dave, formulaford.org.au for all the information. Luke's already got it up on the screen for all the information you need to know about going Formula Ford racing. And of course, for the best sim rigs around, RaceKraft Simulations, give John a call, hit them up, racecraft.net for all of your sim racing equipment, from hardware to chassis, accessories, or complete all-out bonkers builds that is enough to make a grown man's eyes water at the price of. That's what it's all about. That's what we love this sport for. They're the people to go check out, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place, same channel on Racestars TV.